The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Dolly Vision streaming real. True crime scene blast feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby? Missing shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on their light. Top it up, Dolly Vision streaming real. True crime scene blast feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby? Missing shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King the Beat. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on their light.
YouTube, where's the babies? Where's the babies? That is the question we're asking here tonight. And as you can see, breaking, the search for Jack and Lily takes a dramatic turn. So anyway, today, wait, before we get in that, I'm going to need you guys to leave your DNA on the like button, okay? Just in case you go missing and we got to hunt you down, we're going to need your DNA on file. Also, if you're brand new, sub up, ring that bell for notifications. We just hit 63,000 subscribers, or a little over that. So thank you to everybody that has been subbing up, and welcome to the channel. I want to give my warnings because, you know, a lot of this is rumors. Dolly Vision's for entertainment purposes only. We talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation, theories, mixed with a little bit of comedy and a whole lot of chaos. Completely satire, so don't take nothing here as fact. It's just our opinions. The callers' opinions are theirs and theirs alone, not to reflect on the Dolly. Don't get me sued, people. Also, everyone is innocent to proven guilty in a court of law, like the people we are talking about tonight, the stepfather and the mother of Jack and Lily. Also, the biggest one of them all, no matter what, if you break, you can break all the other rules, but don't break this one. Don't try to be Dolly at home. It's dangerous. It is dangerous. So when we was wrapping up the stream today, we had seen a post that said authorities were in the area with boats searching the nearby lakes for Jack and Lily. Okay, which is crazy because we just had a case in Oregon with baby Dane where he ended up in the lake, and he was what, 3?
Yes.
3 years old. He made his way to the lake, fell into the lake, and sad news is baby Dane lost his life. So anytime we hear that there's lakes nearby in missing kid cases, we get a little scared because a lot of kids, for some reason, they love water. They like to go to the water. They like to play near the water. And the worst thing that could happen is these small children get out there and they end up drowning, you know, playing near the water's edge. So as we're speaking, you know, earlier, we get to see a post of locals in the area saying, hey, there's police around the lakes. There's a boat out here parked right by the lake. they're starting to search the lakes for Jack and Lily. Now, we know that they said that they will scale back the search and search certain areas that they've already searched. So at this point, we don't know if there's divers in the water. And some of these lakes are kind of small. They're small, and there's one big lake that is nearby. So we don't know if they're dredging this water, what they're doing to search for these children in this water. But I'm assuming they're using radar, sonar, and divers are going in the water, looking around to make sure the kids are not there. Now, a lot of people think the kids never ran away. A lot of people believe there's foul play, and even the police believe that the chances of these children being alive is very unlikely. They only have a certain amount of time that children could survive on their own, especially at their age, 4 and 6 years old, and on the spectrum, okay? Allegedly on the spectrum, not diagnosed, but according to the mother, she believes they may be a little autistic. Now, there's a lot of rumors that have been going around that the mother was on a reservation. We're reading stuff that the mother is with her mother, and it's not on a reservation, okay? So a lot of this news that is coming in is a lot of rumors, a lot of gossip, things like that. So I got my producer in the room with us, and we're going to go over some of the facts that we do know.
Some of the facts versus some of the
rumors. Okay, so spit them out, and I'll go over them one by one.
Are they going to be able to hear me over here?
I'll repeat you. I'm sure they can hear you.
Okay. There is an original post, and I'm just now seeing this, an emergency alert that have went out for vulnerable persons.
Emergency alert.
It actually says Lily and Jack Sullivan, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia, is asking for public assistance in locating 6-year-old Lily and 4-year-old Jack. They were last seen May 1st on Gairloch Road in Lansdowne Station, Pictou County. Lily has shorter length, light brown hair with bangs. She might be wearing a pink sweater, pink pants, and pink boots. Jack has short blondish hair. He's wearing a blue dinosaur boots. Anyone with information on the whereabouts is asked to call 902-485-4333 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Okay, so they're saying May 1st was the last time they were seen. That would be right, because Friday would have been the 2nd, right? Because we're on day 7 now.
Right.
And they reported them Friday missing.
One of the grandmothers, I believe, also in a comment section were stating that they were seen at bedtime the night before. Yeah,
bedtime the night before, because they woke up. So that'd be correct. Like almost like the Katie situation in the Sebastian Rogers
where
case.
We have the exact same scenario.
Yes, she's seen them before she went to bed. She goes to bed. When she wakes up, the children are gone. So technically the last time they were seen was on the Thursday. Now, we know that they didn't go to school the Wednesday or Thursday. They say Lily had a cough, or Friday.
Well, Wednesday was some type of holiday or day at school they took off. I don't know. It said they call it a PD, I guess. Paid. I don't know.
Like a teacher's work day.
Okay, so none of the kids went to school on Wednesday. But on Thursday and Friday, they said they kept the kids home because Lily had a cough, which doesn't make sense. Why wouldn't they send the other child? I don't know.
Yeah, why not send the other one if you are not sending Lily? Okay. And that child is 4 years old. So was he in preschool?
Yes.
Okay. Somebody says, stop blaming parents. Listen, we never ever one time said the parents have done anything. We always say that we find their behavior suspicious, okay. Right? So we don't blame people. We only bring out the details, and we discuss things that we don't see that seem to be inaccurate to us. There's never one time that I said the father's done this, or the stepdad or the mother's done this. I always say, listen, they're suspicious to us. They're giving inconsistent statements. They were both home. They never got up at 10 a.m. to give the kids breakfast. They never got up to check on the kids. If that's not suspicious to you, then you're not a very good parent. I hate to say that. A good parent would have been up making their kid breakfast. They would have been up checking on their kids. those types of things. So if anything, these people should be in jail right now for criminal child neglect, for not looking after the well-being of their children. Okay, that's facts. That ain't no bullshit. And I don't know what goes on in Canada, but in America, if you're not watching your kids and something happens to your kids, you are liable for that, and you are held responsible, and it's a felony. It's called criminal child neglect here in the United States. So these kids should have been being taken better care of, and they're kind of guessing. They're playing a guessing game, and they're blaming each other right now. So what does that tell you, right? If the families are blaming each other, something is going on that we don't know about, and that is very, very suspicious. Okay, you find somebody in this room that don't think it's suspicious other than you that left that comment, stop blaming the parents. It ain't about blaming the parents. It's about giving a voice to these kids and going over things that are inconsistent, right? They lived in these kids were supposed to have slipped out a backsliding glass door that led to a fenced in yard.
There was a small break in the fence. His
mother and his brother lived directly behind it. 10 a.m. They're not up. So the whole household is asleep at 10 a.m. and nobody sees and hears these kids. I believe that all these people need to be sitting their ass at the police station right now at the jail until they have some answers for these kids, because between those 4 people, one of them people know what happened to these kids. Facts. All right. Sorry, producer. Go ahead. I had to go off on that one.
There was just another, from the very start, there was another discrepancy, and I don't know where it originally came from, but the original story was that they were in their bedroom with their baby, feeding the baby.
Yeah, but they didn't get up to feed
the other kids.
Thank you, Helena. Thank you so much for that super chat. Yeah, I mean, they're up. It's allegedly up to take care of their baby that belongs to him and her, but they're not checking on the other 2 kids, the kids that have special needs. Look, your kids have special needs. That's more reason for you to be checking on these children. Okay. Now listen, I ain't saying they're guilty of killing their children, but what I am saying is they're guilty of child neglect. Them kids should have been having breakfast. They should have had their diapers changed, that type of stuff. Like even the stepdad saying, well, Jack had a pull up on, but I don't know how long that pull up would have lasted him. Well, if he's using the bathroom himself, don't you think you should have checked on Jack that morning and maybe see if he needed his diaper changed, or if Jack was hungry, or if Jack needed anything? How can you not hear Lily? She's loud as can be, right? She likes to scream. She has a high-pitched voice. Yeah, she could break glass. And if she was hurting those woods, don't you think you would hear them screaming? Owen Orson West case all over again. Yes, the Cow City Boys. Yep, listen, for anybody that's been in a true crime as long as most of us have in this room, we know the signs of foul play. We know this is not our first rodeo. Okay, so if you're coming in here and like, oh, how could you attack the parents? It's not. I haven't said anything bad about the parents. I just said that their behavior is not consistent with good parenting. Okay, it's not good parenting. And a matter of fact, it borders on the line of criminal child neglect, which is a felony, and they should be in jail anyway. Now, when you see the mother pack up and run from the home, and a lot of rumors are circulating that CPS has told her to get away from him. Okay, so she's packed up the kid and left. We do know there's been 2 calls for domestic violence at that home.
That was the part in the rumor section. That was
in the rumors. It's still rumors. Thank you for joining.
And the part that you just said about the mom being told to leave, it was allegedly the police that told them to be separated, and or possibly CPS. That all is all rumored.
Rumors, yeah.
Either together and separately. I've seen them both mentioned in 2 different.
The mother has lived there for 2 years.
Yes.
Okay.
They were dating for 3.
They were dating for 3. She lived there for 2 years. Their baby's name is what is it? We don't want to tell the baby's name. It's a cute name. Meadow, right? And that was the baby between the stepdad and the mother. Is the 15-month-old, 16-month-old child is Meadow, and that baby is in the care of its mother which she's with her grandmother. Now it's not clear if she's on the reservation or not on the reservation. Some reports are saying that she's not on this reservation, but she is with the mother.
The bio dad hasn't been in the kids' lives.
The bio dad, not whatsoever, has been in any of the kids' lives.
An anonymous supposed friend of the family said that he was so against the kids that he called them names and that he went as far as to change his name to Max to get away from paying child support.
I don't know if that really would get you away from paying child support by changing your name.
But the guys, or the person, the anonymous person stated in their comments that he was a little bit slow, that he did think that he could avoid it by doing that, but he did say like it's probably not going to.
Well, sometimes some of these disabilities can be genetic, and maybe he may be on the spectrum a little bit himself. Now, there was a post that came out today that was talking really good about the stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
People saying they personally knew him and that he is a really good person, that he has kids that he has with another woman, and he never hurt any of those kids, that this guy is not a violent guy, that he does not do drugs.
I've actually seen probably about 15 people say that they know the stepdad. I've only seen probably about 2 that say they know the mom, and both sets of comments are all positive towards both of them. And both of the comments that I looked at for the mom, both are certain she did not do drugs.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading, that people say that they know him, that they wasn't, not allegedly not doing drugs. But a lot of these posts are by people that are like anonymous and things like that. So we don't know if they're true or they're not. But they're saying that the guy is a good guy, that he's willing to give lie detector tests. And we know
he asked for that in his latest interview. It's not on a video on YouTube, but it's on the news website. He asked right there on the interview to be issued a lie detector test.
Yeah, so his behavior seems a little odd to me, but listen, everybody acts different. Just because I think he's suspect don't mean he has anything to do with it.
He has suspicious behavior. It is what it is.
It is.
There's nothing really, you can't say anything about it.
It's the fake crying that does it for me. Like, he has this fake cry about him where he clenches his thing and he's like, oh yeah, and then all of a sudden he's back fine. And his face ain't wet. There's no tears. And even the mother, her behavior, super calm, collective. I don't know how you could be like that if your child was missing, and he's more concerned about the 2 children that are not his than his own children that she's done ran off with, right? You don't hear him say nothing about his child that, the mother's done blocked him on social media. But he has been cooperating with the police. He went down
overly cooperating in it.
That could be a red flag. Overly cooperating, right? I was running through the woods, and he talks about the kids in past tense.
So did she.
And to me, those are definitely red flags.
I don't like how he describes the kids as if they're like in a decomposition state. Like the backpack is now brown and that is weird to go that far into describing the
because there's possibility that these kids could have been in the woods or put somewhere days before they actually were reported missing. So by now that backpack would be dirty. And like, how did they know that these things were missing? They go in and search and go, okay, well, her book bag is missing. Because they're saying now she was wearing all pink pants, pink shirt, book bag, pink boots.
But they didn't see her that morning. So she got herself dressed, and Jack was wearing a pull-up. But now they believe he was wearing brown pants. So Jack got himself dressed. He's wearing purple boots with dinosaurs. Blue, I thought.
I thought it was purple.
Oh.
Blue or purple?
Just like with Sebastian and the flashlight. They know exactly what these kids are wearing and what they took with them and that they're playing outside, but yet. And
then if you listen to Plunder's video where it's a dispatch call.
I listened to the dispatch myself.
They said that they had checked on the kids at 8 o'clock that morning. But really they didn't. Come to find out, they never checked on the kids. They never seen the kids that morning. The last time they had seen the kid was the night before. Okay. And she said she was in and out of sleep.
Which is weird.
Yeah. And now could it be a case to where the mother did something and the stepdad didn't know, or the stepdad did something and the mother didn't know. But if I'm right and these kids have been missing longer than we believe, they both knew these kids were gone.
Yes.
Right. And at no time did they look at each other and go, hey, where's the kids?
Right.
So is there anything else on there?
There's a lot.
Okay, go over it.
Mom and dad believe Lily and Jack are autistic. However, doesn't appear that has been a confirmed diagnosis by a doctor. Both kids are verbal, but I did see where an alleged teacher or bus driver or either or both said that it was hard to understand Lily at times. And so maybe like the mom and the dad and the people around the kids
and
can
understand them. We were discussing that screaming earlier with it being like a sensory thing, you know.
A lot of people that I know that have kids that have autism, their kids don't like it when you sing happy birthday to them, so they don't have
or
birthdays.
Kids like to scream when you're not paying them any attention.
Yeah.
They want the attention on them and they don't know how to do it, and they'll start screaming. So you know, it's like the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You know, so definitely it's I could see where they would think she is on the spectrum.
The last time anyone but mom and stepdad saw the kids was on Monday. The teachers at school.
Thank you, sweets.
No confirmation that is publicly available to say they were seen after that point by anyone who lives off the property.
So the last person to see these people were a school teacher, and that was on a Monday.
I thought that I saw that a bus driver said on Tuesday, but I don't know. This is just this one particular post.
Okay.
The kids were home on the Wednesday for a PD day, like we said.
Thursday they were out because of the cough.
And Friday they were out due to Lily having a cough.
How do they know Lily had a cough? They never seen her that morning. How did they know Lily wasn't perfectly fine? She was fine enough to go outside and play on her own, but they never got up to send them to the bus. They never got up for breakfast. They never got up to check on them.
I don't think these people are the type that just keep their kids home because of a small cough either. It's like they seem like they would just send the kids. And I mean, that's being judgmental. I don't know that for certain. That just seems like an excuse to me.
It seems odd if your kid gonna call out sick, but you don't check on them in the morning to see if they're okay. And that's even weirder. They knew the little girl wasn't feeling well and they still didn't check on her.
Right.
You know, if that got to be a red flag.
But they mentioned that she's the one that had the cough, but why? That would mean if she's actually sick with a cough, like possible fever and whatnot, why would the little boy be with her and just be counted as like a part of her, like they're attached at the hip or something?
Yeah.
It's like he's not even mentioned that he's alive and well, or that does he have a cough also? Why is he being held at home? You would think you would want to separate them so that he doesn't get the sickness from her.
Well, he's 4 years old, still in pull-ups. I mean, that ain't uncommon, but most 4-year-olds are usually pretty much potty trained by the time they're 4 or 5 years old.
It could be something to where, like at nighttime.
Yeah, just and they wet the bed.
Right, that's usually what a pull-up would be for, I think, at 4.
Yeah.
So that could just be them, thinking, oh, he's still in bed, he's in a pull-up still.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
The children's rain boots and white backpack with strawberries on it are unaccounted for. So again, it's like the flashlight. Now
they did find a footprint at the edge of the property, but you got to remember them kids have been playing out there before. Is that an old footprint or is that a new footprint? Because them kids are running around with them rain boots on, and you got to remember their scent's going to be there anyway. They live there, they play there, they go outside there, they walk through the woods there. So a little bit of their scent's already going to be there. And we don't know if the track was an old track or a new track. What about the rumors that they found a shirt, a blanket, and...
That was explained somewhere in this paragraph as possibly being one of the scent dogs was being wiped off by a blanket, and they think that may have been like just dropped from that.
But the parents allegedly are saying this don't belong to the children.
Right.
So they're finding clothing, but clothing that don't belong to these children, but they're in a remote area.
I mean, there's nobody around.
So where did these clothes come from?
Oh, and then if you listen to the whole dispatch audio, what I heard was them saying that they didn't have cell service. How do they call 911 then?
She didn't have cell service. So it appears that they went somewhere else to notify the authorities.
Okay.
But she said she did. I thought allegedly she freaked out and she called.
She had an instinct to call 911 instantly,
right? So,
which
but
was weird.
From dispatch, they said she didn't have signal, and they were telling them to tell her to stay there just in case the kids tried to sneak back into the house.
That's what you would think. If the kids got out, they're going to possibly come back home.
Yes, absolutely.
And you want to be there to greet them when they return.
Yes, that's what I would think if, my kids are going missing. We seen that in the Sebastian Rogers case too. Katie packed up and she went to Mississippi where the kid gone. Now, if the kid comes home, who's going to be there when they get there?
Nobody.
But apparently these kids knew how to open and close the door. And another inconsistency in what the stepdad said was he was always telling them to shut that door. Like that they would leave it open.
Yeah. But this one time they closed the door. And we got the mother and brother living outside there. How do we know the brother is not a creeper or anything like that? One of his brothers, he has two.
So, and the mother's out there, but neither one of them seen the children. None of them heard the children. And you're talking about an area in the middle of nowhere and it's quiet.
That's like the Hills Have Eyes kind of looking area. Like there's nobody. I swear on the one side, it's like this much room on the map to where the next house comes up. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a good ways. We did a Google map search of it earlier today to see what was close. And there's one house good mile down the street. And, a couple miles down the street, we have these bodies of water that we're talking about here tonight. And that they were allegedly searching these bodies of water today. So far as we know, nothing has been pulled from the waters there in Nova Scotia.
I was hoping we would have a press conference again, but we didn't.
No, I don't think we're going to get very many more press conferences like we were in the beginning because they're scaling this back into a criminal investigation. When they scale a search back, it's criminal at that point.
That's not even it. And I sent you that little snippet from that article, but what it said in the article, it was not only were they sending the people that were searching home and away and it was over whatever, but they had actually the day before they had requested from New Brunswick for personnel to come to help search. They were called off and told, never mind, just go home.
Go home, yeah.
So it's like they canceled everything.
Yeah, all the searchers, because they figuring at this point, with it being 7 days, them children having no means of survival, no water, no food, and the terrain and the conditions when they went missing, that these children are most likely not alive. I mean, sad as that is, they pretty sure that, and they said that, they set up a perimeter so big that they searched every inch of it, and they're going to go back and search most of it again, that they don't believe these kids could have got out of that perimeter.
Right. And it sounded like they had specific locations they wanted to go back and research for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. It almost feels like to me they kind of have an idea as to what possibly occurred.
The Grim Sweeper says, who is the father of these kids? The father is not an active father in these child's lives. Okay. So the stepdad, he was more of a dad over the last couple of years, allegedly, than the biological father to these children were. Apparently the biological father doesn't have anything to do with the children. So that is the word on the streets that, he's one of those dads that wasn't a dad. He didn't care what was going on with his kids. He didn't even really claim them. So, right now, I'm sure the police and investigators have spoke with the bio father to make sure that the bio father didn't go up there and allegedly take the kids. But you notice there's no Amber Alert for the children because there's no signs of abduction of these children, right? There's no.
They had a what did I read it a minute ago. The person's report. I don't want to pull it back up. I'm in a spot where I wanted to mention that this is the other thing that's identical to Sebastian is the scent dogs were unable to pick up the scent past the driveway. Uh-huh.
And here's the thing about that. We got to remember that these kids have been outside before there. So if you send a dog, like if you send a dog to my house right now,
they're going to smell everything.
They're going to smell me from being out the other day and me working in the backyard. They're going to hit that. that don't mean that that is a fresh scent. It could be a scent that you left because, you know, dogs, these tracking dogs, they smell, you know, as you move around, you shed dead skin cells constantly, thousands of them. You don't realize you do it, but you do it because they're microscopic. So you don't even see these dead skin cells falling off of you, but they do. And these dogs are able to smell those dead skin cells. And that's a way that they're determined that you were there. At this point, we know that they've been going back in the house, that the guy has given permission to search the house.
He's actually asking for them to search it and then asking for a polygraph.
Asking for a polygraph, right? Which, you know, I don't put too much into these polygraphs because I believe they can be passed. But there's been a lot said that if you was guilty, you'd be a little more hesitant about them doing this. Or he's done something and he believes he's smarter than the police and that he'll get away with it, right? But like I said, we've seen posters that have posts of people that say they know him or allegedly know him and say he's a good guy, right? So it's hard to tell. What we do know is these children are missing under strange circumstances. He should have checked on them kids. She should have checked on those kids. And how did these kids get past the mother and the brother that were outside the house? That is super strange and super suspect to me. And until they are cleared, which they have not been cleared yet, the police haven't came out and said the mother and father didn't have anything to do with this. They are my number one suspects. Of all four of those people that were at that location, they're all four number one suspects to Dolly. I'm one of these people that believe they got some explaining to do. Yes, all aboard. You just jumped on, get you a nice seat, buckle up. It can become a crazy ride. And, you know, some people just think that all we do is attack parents of missing kids. And that's not the case. Listen, I pray to God that people are good people and would never hurt their kids, because it's hard for me to even imagine doing these things. Because, you know, guys, I'm a father. PJ's a mother. We both have kids. She has a teenage daughter. I have a grown daughter. And it's hard to believe that somebody could hurt their kids, or one person allow another person to hurt their kid. Like PJ would never allow me to hurt her kid, and I would never allow her to hurt my daughter. So, but these women get in these situations sometimes where sometimes they choose a man.
However, the scent didn't lead them to finding Sebastian.
That is kind of inaccurate, because the head detective said the scent dogs never hit. It was a false hit. Okay. And they ran off and jumped in the water.
Just such confusion over that.
There's still some confusion, like the producer's saying, but technically the lead detective came out, cleared that up, and said the search dogs never hit on Sebastian. Okay. A lot of people don't believe Sebastian walked away from that house, that he was carried away from that house, and maybe a vehicle or something like that. Right now, I believe they need to be in this home, in this trailer, this double wide, of course, taping off the windows, sealing everything up, spraying it with luminol and Red Star, looking for traces of blood and bodily fluids. They need to have cadaver dogs walking this property. They need to have cadaver dogs in these vehicles, right? They need to pull the cell phone records. They need to pull the car data and see where these vehicles were. They need to reach out to the public and ask the public, hey, have you seen any of these vehicles around your area? Because that's the same way that the Maddie Soto case was solved, is the police reached out to the public, went on the news, said, hey, there's a gold Lincoln that may have been riding around. We need to know the whereabouts of anybody who may have seen this gold Lincoln. A call came into the police, said, hey, I seen a gold Lincoln on the side of the road changing a flat tire. That led to the recovery of Maddie Soto. So they need to be doing things like this. They need to turn this right now into a full-blown criminal investigation. If they haven't found the babies, they've searched miles and miles and set up a perimeter, and them children ain't in that perimeter, and they don't believe these children have been abducted. There's only one other thing that could have happened to these children. You want to add in on that, PJ?
I mean, I have my own theory based on certain words that have been said in the interviews. When the stepfather said, the kid, I mean, children, and I don't even think he said, he said kid, children, all in one breath. And it's almost like maybe something accidentally happened with one, and then the other one possibly saw it, or the other one possibly ran out or something. But it's hard to say. There's just so much. There's so many rumors circulating.
Yeah. Now, if it comes out, of course, that these family members didn't have anything to do with it, of course, I would apologize for thinking they're suspicious. But I've never blamed them for anything. I just don't think they're telling the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God. And I don't believe. Let's just take a little poll, guys. If you think the mother and dad are suspicious, okay, if you think they're suspicious, I want you to hit the like on this video. Okay. We got 2,000 people in the room. Hit the like on the video. And then I want you to press 1 in the chat room if you believe these parents are suspicious. If you believe the parents have nothing to do with it, I want you to I want you to like the video and press 2 in the chat room. Okay. 1, they're suspicious and you believe they may have something to do with the disappearance of Jack and Lily. Or 2, they're innocent parents and people are just blaming them. Okay. Let's see what everybody says. So far, I see all ones. Okay. So it ain't just me that think okay, right here we got a 2. Okay. So there's somebody in here that think the parents don't have anything to do with it. Okay. That was one person, but we got 2,000 people in here. Okay. Here we go. Brandy Wine thinks the parents don't have anything to do with it. So some people are giving them the benefit of the doubt that these children did run off, but the majority, and I would say a heavy majority, believe the mom is guilty. Like that, mom is guilty, and everything else is all ones.
And Denise just read exactly what I was reading and talking about as far as extreme rumor and speculation.
Mm-hmm.
I guess whoever this person they're referencing, maybe it's a channel or something, saw it on such and such, whatever, but I saw it in a group from an actual anonymous post. Again, it's very hard to believe one post in a group full of 20,000 people or so, where the person is anonymous, and they're basically saying they're a neighbor that's 500 feet away from the house.
There's no neighbors
there's
500.
A house that close.
There's no neighbors 500 feet away from that house.
This account or entry was alleging that they believed there was a party on Thursday, that there were so many cars that the person believed it was a drug house because they'd never seen kids there. They didn't or never would have imagined there was kids that lived there. And that was kind of a paraphrase of the post. We can't validate that with an anonymous random post in a group.
And if you're not posting with your identity, and I can understand a lot of the people that are in Nova Scotia that are not posting with their identity. I mean, if you was a neighbor, would you want them to know, right? I think not. So I can understand some people posting, but when you're saying maybe Katie T, maybe,
I don't think they could go very far in that environment without being.
Or would they go very far, especially being little kids? So I think most kids would get scared and stay close by, fairly close. I don't think they would go as far as the searchers have been searching and no signs. Like, so people are saying, you know, animal attacks, and they got cougars and they got bears. And usually anytime there's an attack, these bears and cougars don't eat clothing. They'll rip through those things and leave pieces of clothing and things behind. So far, they haven't found any rain boots. They ain't found any of the clothes that Jack or Lily was allegedly wearing. And, you know, even if you was to go into the water, like say they go into the water, usually if you go into the water and drown, you will sink to the bottom of the lake. And then your body will fill up with gases after a certain amount of time, and you will rise to the surface. Okay. And to them gases expel from your body, and then you will sink again to the bottom of the lake. if we look at the situation of Raleigh Strand and Nashville, that's basically what happened to him. And they were able to tell about how much time it would take for his body to fill up with gases by the size of his body and his weight index. So they were like, okay, be on the lookout for him. If he is in the water, he should rise any day from the water. And they were right, because there was a worker on a dock that looked into the water around the time they said that he would be floating, and he was floating. Now, I don't know how that, you translate that into small children, the amount of time that they, and what was it, about a week, wasn't it? 4 or 5 days after he went missing, he surfaced. So
well,
I don't,
just like that diver that helped find the little boy, he also knew based on like the current and the time frame, and it's like a fine art of mathematics and science.
Yeah.
And based on certain things, they know where to look. This is another thing that's almost exactly like the Sebastian case. I'm reading a thread where there's a bunch of people commenting about how could the grandma and the
bio dad is not incarcerated, not right now. He was on house arrest. I was just answering that question. Sorry, cut you off. Go ahead. The thread.
I know. The grandmother and the brother supposedly have been living in that trailer behind the house, and a lot of the people in this thread are discussing how or why they would not even care even a little about the children to be able to notice, or why wouldn't the kids have gone to their house? Like, let's say they're up and they're hungry.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they have gone out and maybe gone to see grandma? And a lot of the people in chat in responses are saying things like, well, maybe the grandma didn't see them as her grandkids, or maybe they didn't see her as grandma. And that's literally almost identical to Sebastian's case, like Chris's parents.
Yeah.
They don't seem to consider Sebastian as their own.
Yeah, they were more worried about the daughter than they were Sebastian.
And their reality and where they were going to vacation and, that kind of thing. So it's like, because they didn't have blood relations to the child, it's like they don't. I don't
They
know
also
the
extracted the
situation.
phone data from the stepdad's phone too, which is good. They need to do the same thing with the black boxes in their vehicles, but I seen their vehicles. They didn't look new. They look older vehicles, which, these older vehicles are not, they're not as equipped as, let's say, Karen Reed's SUV with a black box. So it don't tell you everything. That's why you get older vehicles, because they don't spy on you. But most people ain't out murdering kids or hurting kids or doing things like that. They even have to worry about something like that. Are they murderers? I don't know. Are they suspicious? Yes. Are they neglectful? I would say yes. Them kids should have had breakfast by 10 a.m. They should have been checked on by 10 a.m. and they won't.
Well, I mean, especially if they were feeding the baby, like, why would you just leave the other kids out there to tend for themselves and not eat?
Now, let's say they do find these kids in this lake or something by tomorrow. It's because these parents were neglectful and they wasn't up and taking care of their children or taking care of their responsibilities like they should have been. Now, still, that's criminal child neglect in the state that we live in. It's a felony. It carries 5 to 10 years in prison, just allowing your kids to go out and get hurt. Okay. And if these kids had been going in and out that door like they said they was and not shutting the door, they should have done something to secure their home. But apparently they didn't do that. There's more to this. Okay. There's definitely more to this. And somebody on that property knows what happened to these kids. Somebody stranger didn't walk up. Listen, here's the bad thing about being in the middle of nowhere and walking up to people's houses. You got to worry about people shooting you, right? So most strangers don't walk up to houses in the middle of nowhere, right? I don't walk up to houses in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I don't know about that. You might get shot.
I don't even like to turn around in a driveway. Remember when we were on Ben Hill and the one area I didn't like the thought of turning around in the little
and like them private roads and things like that. You're like, hey, this is a little sketchy. And but of course, this is daytime that allegedly that they went missing, and that's a scary place at night. Ben Hill Road at night, it is so dark you cannot see nothing. And the same thing applies for like Summer Wells. If you didn't know where that house was, you would have drove right past it. Okay. And if them kids were playing where they allegedly went out the door, even if you was going down the road, you couldn't see them. Okay, let me share the screen right here. Let me see. Share screen. Entire screen. All right, let's pull this up. So you get a good look at what's going on here. Like, these kids would have been back here in this yard. You cannot see that from the street. Now, they're saying there's little openings in the fence, but I'm just not buying it because there's a metal fence here. They're building a fence here, which is openings in it. And most of all this is fenced off. And as you look, the grandmother, alleged step-grandmother, and the brother live in this Breaking Bad ass looking meth lab trailer.
That's exactly what the comments are on all of these posts I'm reading, is that they refer it to Breaking Bad.
I mean, that's what it looks like. I mean, if anybody has watched the show Breaking Bad with what is it, Walter White and Pinkleton, that's what they made their meth lab in. They drove it out into the middle of the desert and they set up a meth lab in it, and it was like a mobile meth lab. So right now, I'm just not trusting this family. Maybe the brother, maybe the stepdad or the brother may have done something. The grandmother, we may have one of those grandest situations where you got a grandmother that people just keep dying or going missing around. I don't know, but this place is kind of a needle in a haystack. Like, if you wasn't really looking for this place, you would drive right past it and not even notice it. So either these kids got out and they got down here to the road, right? But look at how much stuff there was to play with. Kids would have been running all through this or been right in this general area, and they're not there. That area has been searched by hundreds of people and nothing.
They didn't vanish.
Yeah, they didn't just vanish.
And even if they were harmed by wildlife, wouldn't there be remnants somewhere? Like, I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking about that because, the caller called in today talking about, dingoes got the baby, and dingoes, he didn't say dingoes got it. He was saying that, dingoes don't be stealing babies. These animals ain't stealing the babies. And because he was from Australia, and that's where the whole dingo got the baby stuff happened. So a bear, you would see blood, you would see drag marks, you would see things like that. Same thing with a cougar or a wolf or a coyote. So, and they would rip clothing. They would be dragging the children, and their clothes would get caught up on tree branches and rip. And they're not finding any remnants of things like that. They're not finding dismembered.
And now they're done searching.
Yeah, and now they're done searching because they then went through that whole area with a fine-tooth comb and not found anything. Is that a Native American reservation where they live? No, it's not.
I don't believe so. But when the press conference started, the lady that was speaking said that they were on some type of...
They're in an area that is occupied by natives, right? So there is a reservation there, but they do not live on the reservation. And apparently a lot of people believe the mother is with her mother on a reservation, but according to internet sources, she's not. She's on the outside of the reservation. So where's the mother now? The mother now is with her mother. I'm in Nova Scotia. This is poverty. Well, this is not rich living for sure,
Well, the stepdad is allegedly laid off and working 1 day a week at a sawmill.
Yeah, he was working at a sawmill.
And the mom was a stay-at-home mom.
I mean, all they had to do was take care of the kids, and it ain't like they had to be up for work or any. Why can't you get up, right? Why are you sleeping all day? I mean, I can understand me sleeping all day. I'm a YouTuber. I sit up at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning streaming, and I don't have a small child, right? But these people had small children that needed extra special care, seeing that they may be on the spectrum,
right?
And they wasn't providing adequate care to these children or watching them.
One thing that I've not seen anybody mention is the fact that these parents are alluding that these children could possibly be on the spectrum, but why not take them to a doctor?
Absolutely.
Did they get doctor care?
I mean, Canada has free health care.
Right.
So they could easily afford to take the kids to. You don't have to be rich to go to the doctor. It ain't like America where you got to have $1 million insurance for a doctor to even talk to you.
Do they maybe not diagnose the kids that young?
I don't know.
That
Some kids
doesn't make sense. And why would you even see that if you don't have any actual diagnosis from a doctor? I wouldn't want to put that on my kids. Like, even if they act as though they may possibly be, I mean, oh, it's attention deficit, or it's like, I wouldn't want to be like, my kid might possibly have autism.
Yeah, it's like when I was young, there was no such thing as autism. Or it may have been a thing. It just wasn't diagnosed as autism. Like later on, like when I was in school, I can't remember one child that had autism.
No, me neither.
Right. There was children that had learning disabilities. Okay.
Right.
There was kids that were like ADHD, that were hyper. There was kids that had emotional disorders. They had classes for them, which means they would act out, or they didn't know how to act in a group environment. Like, you know how Lily would scream for no reason during the birthday. People that did things like that, but they didn't consider those people autistic. They just had emotional special needs. Right. But now there's so many different things that they've kind of created this spectrum, like the rainbow, and you fall somewhere in that, some more severe than others. And, you know, just what, a year and a half ago, I knew hardly anything at all about autism. Right. If it wasn't for Sebastian Rogers going missing, I've learned so much about it, and you know, what eloping is and things like that from Sebastian Rogers. So if you know, if anything came good from Sebastian Rogers, is he taught a lot of people what autism is.
What I learned is that
from
a
it.
lot of the autistic babies seem to be drawn to water, and that's what really scares me about this, is that there is, I mean, it's not like a hop, skip, and a jump like the last baby, but I mean, there's definitely water around.
Yeah, I mean, I think all kids are. If you look at Michael Monkey Vaughn, he wanted to go to that splash pad.
He wanted to play with somebody.
He wanted to play, but he was drawn to the water too.
Because that's probably where the kids go.
Go and play, yeah.
Hot. It was like 120 degrees.
Yeah, it was hot, and you know, kids like the water, and they like swimming pools. And
it's Sweetleaf's birthday.
Happy birthday to you, Sweetleaf.
And she just gave a membership.
Thank you for that. Thank you for gifting that membership. Make sure if you got one, you get thank Sweetleaf and wish her a happy birthday. So, you know, now we could be wrong, and these kids could be out there somewhere and still be alive. Miracles do happen, but at this point, that's what it would take, is an absolute miracle for these kids to be found. But it never hurts to say a prayer and hope that these kids are brought home. I wouldn't want to be, if just say the father, stepfather, or the mother have nothing to do with this. Yeah. I would never want to be in their situation. Never. You know, and it's weird because some people are not as emotional as other people. We're all a little different in this world, and we have such a hard time when we see people that don't show much emotion, because we're thinking to ourselves, well, I wouldn't act like this. Well, here's the thing. Everybody don't act like us. Right? They don't, everybody's a little bit different or unique in their own way. And like the mother being emotionless, to me, of course, it's a red flag. But there's mothers out there that are emotionless. They're like dead inside.
I didn't really take it as that being the main issue for me. My issue was her reciting, we did this, and then we did this, and then we did that.
It seems scripted. It's
very scripted to me, and it's almost as if the things that she said she did herself, like she said she called 911, and I think that was a deception detective that pointed that out also, but I had picked up on that instantly. And then the stepdad, when he did his interview, it was also very apparent that it's like some of the stuff they were saying was identical, but he said stuff that was a little bit different, which is where there's a disconnect there.
Yeah. And my biggest thing with him was the crying, but there's no tears.
Yeah.
The mother didn't even attempt to cry.
Yeah.
Right. So she ain't crying at all. So why would she have tears? but the stepdad's acting like he's crying, but there's not even he's crying sand. There ain't one wet thing coming out of his eyeball, and it's every time he's clenching his eyes. He's like,
it's almost like he's trying too hard.
Yeah, like if he was crying, you'd be wiping your cheeks off. You'd be wiping the tears away. You wouldn't be like touching your eyeballs like that. That to me, I just find that as a sign of faking. And
that's exactly what I said. Big Bird is that it screamed Cow City Boys to me. It's almost like I'm waiting for the last word in her interview to be like, and that's how it all played
with
out.
Their arms crossed.
With the arms crossed,
Yeah, the Cow City Boys, man. And you notice they didn't do that to their biological children.
Right.
They did that to the adopted children. And the whole time they were out there giving the interview, the aunt was out there screaming, "You killed that baby."
Yep.
You know, and we got that same situation here where we got the families in front of this house on 2 separate nights, allegedly blaming him. Thursday and what was it? Thursday and Saturday.
Saturday. There was an alleged DV call is what it said.
Yeah, so that's family members fighting and arguing. So that's probably her side out there fighting with his.
Thursday was before the kids came up missing on Friday.
Yeah.
So there's something to that. But that was under the rumor section.
Okay, here's another rumor. CPS were involved with, we call it Child Protective Services here in the United States, were involved with these children before they went missing. Just like Sebastian Rogers, just like Summer Wells.
It was said that Jack had been reported on by the school several times and nothing was done about it, is what I heard.
So if you have CPS complaints and now you have children missing, that's where it gets a little sketchy. For what reason? Like, did they not want them talking to CPS? Is this a situation where this little girl may have been being mistreated by, a stepdaddy? Or, I mean, I don't know. Usually when there's a tragic accident, it usually only happens to one kid, right? Not both kids. There was rumors that...
Same thing when children are abducted, it's harder to take too.
I don't believe the rumors of drugs being in the house. Because let's say you're going to call the police, you're going to be smart enough to get the drugs out the house before you call the police, right? And if there was drugs in his house, they would arrest them because they want to arrest you because then they got you there to talk to you. If you're not arrested, then they got to ask you to come down there. They can't violate your rights. I don't know what the Canadian Constitution is. I don't know nothing about Canadian law.
They just let you have drugs in your home and they leave you there. I doubt that. I never believed that, because why would they find drugs?
Not hard drugs anyway. Maybe
it was meth.
Yeah, if they had some meth in your house,
I said meth.
Meth. Okay, if they had a little meth chopped up in their house, they would.
I believe you would be in trouble.
You would be in jail, and they would be questioning you in jail. So
because
far,
that was one of the first speculations I saw, was people saying that, what if they got into the stash and somehow, one of them got hurt, and but
the rumor is that the authorities are asking the mother not to do interviews,
which doesn't make any sense. But they're letting the stepdad
do interviews.
Flappy gum the rest of the
that don't make much sense to me. That's alleged though, like I said, because a lot of this stuff,
according to her mother. Her mother said that in an interview,
that the police
told them not to speak or do interviews.
Okay, so
and she's the one that also stated that she needed to be separated from him with a baby.
What happens if they start pointing the fingers at each other like Adam and Kayla did, Kayla Montgomery?
Well, they didn't do that until they were forced to be separated in different cells. Before that, they were on the same. They were sticking together. They weren't separated. That's what makes this different, because once you're separated, you can't keep up with the story the other one is saying. So now you're in separate locations.
Yeah.
If or if you're together and involved together, you can't have control over the other person and what they're going to possibly say. So
that's why that's why the police want them separated,
right?
Is so they can't rehearse any more of their story, so they can find inconsistencies in it and pick it apart.
Somebody said they made her leave with the baby because the place was unlivable. That's what I heard.
Unlivable. Well, the outside of it, definitely a death trap for small kids.
I mean, just the little water table there in the back with the mold and the
I mean, you need a tetanus shot to be around here. I mean, it's clear.
Yeah.
Look at all that rust. Definitely an area. I mean, it ain't the worst thing I've seen. I've seen people live a lot worse than this with kids.
Yeah.
You know, poor people. I mean, but even though you're poor, don't mean you have to be messy.
Right.
You know, but
it could be nice on the inside.
Yeah, it could be
it.
nice on the inside. I don't think so. I mean, it's missing. It looks like it's probably leaking on the inside.
Yeah.
Look at their roof.
I don't like judging poor people.
I don't either.
It doesn't
but
necessarily mean they're, they've got a habit or that they're just bad people. Some people aren't great at cleaning. But at the same time, that going along with having missing children is where it becomes a problem.
You know, I've seen people that drive $60,000 cars and live in a shack.
Yeah.
You know, so sometimes
because some people prefer to have nice cars than a nice house.
I mean, they just don't have their priorities straight.
Right.
You know, and they're like, oh, I got this brand new Lexus, but you know, my damn roof's leaking.
I'm in a motel. Yeah, I've seen that before.
Yeah. Okay, even when Orrin and Olsen died, they showed the inside, but it wasn't in bad condition outside or inside, but they still showed both. Yeah, they lived in a pretty good area, nice neighborhood, residential.
Those people were
Thank you, Barbara.
I
taking
wonder if the
advantage of
parents
the
cleaned up the
fostering
yard before they
adoptions.
reported them gone.
Sorry.
They could have recently put that pitiful fence up. It's a kerfuffle.
It's a fluffle. Yes, definitely. They could have just put that fence up. Now go ahead, PJ.
No, the Orrin and Orson West is a little bit different. Those, from my opinion and from what I know about the case, those parents were utilizing the state and the way the fostering adoption system was set up. They were actually getting paid.
Yeah, they were profiting off of
and they
kids.
had their own kids, and it was like 5 children that they had in this 2 or 3 bedroom apartment, which here in Virginia would never fly. You could never even rent. I did property management once, but it's like you literally have to be like coded to 2 people per bedroom. Like it's unsanitary to live that way according to the state of Virginia. So they were utilizing the system for profit, and I don't believe that we actually.
Yeah, like here in Virginia, a boy and a girl ain't supposed to share a room.
That too, right?
Even if they're your kids, say you have twins, you have a daughter and a son, they're not supposed to share.
You
a
have
room.
to have some sort of personal space as a human being, and with a boy and a girl, there has to be certain areas for you to be able to change in and have your own personal space and be able to be you.
Yeah, I mean, there's a bathroom. You would think that's
Yeah.
personal enough to go in there and change, but Short Legs, thank you so much for your super sticker. Welcome aboard the Blessed Express tonight. Buckle up. You're riding with the best. When you blessed.
I was trying to find this last thing before I go because I still have to pack up the orders I have sitting out, but
Okay.
I can't find it. And it was a post in this group where somebody mentioned the stepfather in the beginning in his interview mentioned the piping underneath the structure for I don't even remember what
The covert.
Yes. I don't recall exactly how he said that. Or what he references as
Drainage.
right, but like,
Drainage
why did he
pipes.
mention that in his? Because the post was talking about how they found it extremely problematic, and they instantly were
That he brought it up.
worried that he brought it up. But I don't recall how he brought it up. Like, in what context did he say it?
That he had been searching these things. That he was
Okay.
running through water, searching the coverts.
Is that
That
normal?
he was outrunning the helicopter, which we know he wasn't outrunning a helicopter. He was exaggerating a little
And then
bit.
he was in water up to his chest. I remember that.
Yeah. So he was just trying to explain the areas that he had searched in his efforts. Okay, let's take this call. Ollie,
How you doing, Dolly?
I'm doing pretty good. Who's this? Where you calling from?
Oh, it's a Buzzy, man. It's been a while.
You say Buzzard?
No, Buzzy. You remember I talked to you a few times.
Oh, yeah. What's going on? How you doing tonight?
Oh, I've been doing pretty good. You guys getting ready for your trip, huh?
Yes, we leave, Saturday or Sunday? One of those days. We leave sometime soon.
Well, you guys have a good trip down there and don't get too scared.
Well, up there. We're going north. So,
Yeah.
so we're going up. So what do you think about this case here in Nova Scotia, Canada?
Well, I just thought of something. You told me the other day, or not me, you was saying, what was it, maybe last night? Or it was one, maybe the night before, you was talking about this.
Mm-hmm.
And wasn't that little girl sick?
Allegedly, she was supposed to have had a cough, and that's why they didn't send her to school.
Well, see, that's another thing, too. She had a cough, and didn't you say it was raining when they come up missing?
Yes.
So that's another thing. If the girl is sick, why the hell are you letting your daughter out if she's sick and coughing in the pouring down rain?
They're saying they didn't let them out, that they slipped out while they were asleep in bed at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, I don't buy that, man. You know that they know what's going on. They have to know. Because, I mean, they would have heard that door or something.
That door does not look silent.
Yeah.
They don't.
Ain't nothing on that house looks silent. You know what I'm saying?
No, that door, they don't. I mean, you know, I live in the trailer too myself, but, you know, I try to keep it clean around there, cleaner than that. But,
yeah.
Like you said, you can't judge people by that, but I think, like you said, those kids would have been around that shed and went to grandma's and his brothers. If they were hungry and wanted something to eat, I think they would have probably went over there.
Yeah, absolutely. And these people are not being forthcoming. They're not out in the media talking what they seen or what they heard. Why is that the case? Why are they so silent?
Yeah, and if you seen that dude wipe his eyes in the interview, you could just tell it didn't look real. You know, it just looked like it was for show for the camera to me.
I know, and that was one of my biggest red flags on him. And I'm seeing people say he's a good guy. Then why is his behavior so odd?
Man, you hate to be wrong about something like that. You can't. You got to face when they're suspicious like that, man. And like you said, you can't blame them. But it is a little suspicious, man. I mean, the mom left and they got in a fight and she left and shit. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just, they know something.
I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying their behavior is odd. They're suspicious to me. And I have that right. That's my opinion. Like I don't have any facts.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. It's my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. And that's all we could do is just sit here and give our opinions. But I don't know, man. I think they know something. It's just got that gut feeling that they know something. Okay.
Yes. I got that same feeling. I think a lot of the majority of this room, 2,200 people, feel the same way. They got that same feeling that something, the math is not mathing.
Well, I've seen all the ones go up when you asked that a while ago. So yeah, it kind of feel the same way. All your most of your viewers.
And I can see
almost all of them.
I can see one or two people being wrong, but all of us, what's the chances of all of us being wrong?
Yeah, and you hate them little kids are so cute too. You hate to think of something like that, man. I appreciate you staying on the Sebastian Rogers case too. We talked about that before.
Yes.
No, you said where I was calling from. I'm calling from Missouri.
Awesome.
I'm here in Wright City, little town called Wright City. But
Okay.
all right, Dolly, I know other people want to call in. You guys have a safe trip, all right?
All right, you too.
All right, buddy. Bye, PJ.
All right,
Bye,
peace.
PJ.
We told him he said have a safe trip. We said you too. I don't think he's going anywhere. But thank you, Short Legs. Dolly.
Hello?
Hello.
Who's this?
This is Dolly. Who's this?
Oh, this is Dolly?
Yes.
I'm calling in on this child thing.
Okay. How you doing? Who are you? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Alaska.
Alaska? Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm just watching this thing, and I think them people are tweaking.
You think they're tweaking? Well, look, you got to turn me down in the background because we got a little bit of an echo going on.
Okay. Is that better?
No. No.
Is that better?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
A little bit better.
Okay. But yeah, I think these people are on meth.
Okay. And what makes you think that?
Because of the way the guy is acting.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah.
It's just the way both of them are acting, really.
It's possible. I mean, I don't know. I don't personally know these people, and people have been saying different things. People have been posting that they know them and they don't do drugs. People are posting that there was drugs in the house. So right now it's a lot of rumors, and I'm not sure unless the police say something, you know.
Right, but how can them kids get out that door?
I mean, Lily is 6 years old. I mean, that's big enough to open a door. You know, you would think that sliding glass door would be pretty heavy, but that's what they're saying is they went out that sliding glass door in the back.
Right.
So
I think there's something to this.
yeah, and I think within the next week there will be an arrest in this case. I think it's
and I hope they find them, but I don't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't think there's going to be a happy ending in this one. It's already the police are saying the chances of them being alive is slim.
Exactly, and yeah, it's sad, but
yeah, we got to deal with reality. But hey, look, I appreciate you calling in.
Well, thank you, and you have a good night, okay?
All right, peace.
Bye.
All right, parts of her phone call sound like she was calling from a walkie-talkie. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, how you doing?
I am doing pretty good. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
This is Punky. I'm in North Carolina.
You say Punky?
Yep.
Okay, what's going on, Punky?
Man, this case reminds me so much of the Summer Wells case. It's not even funny.
Yeah, it kind of looks like the property a little bit. If this was on a hill, I'd be like, oh my God.
Well, you know, but I feel like this case is going to break where the Summer Wells didn't, because this is 2 kids, not just 1.
Yeah. And there's a lot of pressure on them, and we already got the family split up and one blocking the other. So one of them is going to tell on the other. You know, which one's going to tell?
Well, hopefully so, because we got to find something. I mean, like, man, Summer Wells, that just broke my heart. You know, we have no idea what happened to that poor girl. But when it's 2 kids versus 1, you know, because you know, if it's trafficking, if it's abduction, whatever it is, that's really difficult to have a living person while you're, you know, doing something like that. But 2 children, that's even more. And then, you know, I hope they're still alive.
I do too. And but you know, let's be honest, even if you was an adult and you was out in those woods with no fresh water, nothing to drink, lost, you wouldn't make it but 3 days. I mean, then your kidneys would shut down.
But like, look, there's got to be some kind of evidence. I mean, there's what the girl took a backpack.
Yeah, why?
They had boots. They had like all this gear, supposedly.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like they wore them boots a lot, because when you live out in the country, a lot of times you're going to wear boots. But they had on the rubber boots prepared for the rain, which is kind of odd, but it ain't unusual for little country kids to be running around in boots.
Well, I mean, if you're really country kids, you run around barefoot.
Barefoot, yeah, you run around barefoot. I was going to say the same thing. When I was a kid, I ran around barefoot.
Yeah.
I mean, I had shoes, but I never wore them.
Is PJ still on with you?
No, she has took off. She's actually doing some packing and shipping right now.
Okay. Is she going on the trip with you this weekend?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, great. So I have another thing that I'm trying to deal with, true crime related, and I didn't really been waiting months to contact y'all about it. Because I don't want to take away from these important cases that you're covering.
Okay.
So is there a better way for me to contact you? It's about
either my Facebook or my email, jimmyjams757@gmail.com. One of my mods, I'll put it in the chat room for you. Okay.
It's about extracting, you know, our beloved pets from true crime scenes. And I've done that recently, and I'm trying to find relief for this pet that has been extracted. It's something we have in common. It's a Chihuahua.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I would like to connect with you on finding relief for such animals.
So you're trying to find homes for dogs that are coming from bad situations?
Actually, I already did.
Oh, okay.
And I'm the target. I'm the one that is trying to find relief for the dog that came from a bad situation that was pulled from a crime scene.
Okay. Okay.
So I'll contact you guys on there, and I hope that you'll all have a great trip.
And where did you say you're calling from?
You've already spoken to me prior. I'm from Asheville, North Carolina area.
Okay.
Through the hurricane. Yeah.
Well, send me a picture of Chihuahua. Let me check it out.
All right. Awesome. I will. I hope you have a great night.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Now, me, myself, I am a Chihuahua lover. I have Lolo, my little Chihuahua, that is like my kid. She's like my fur baby. So I would be doing more freaking out than these people if my Chihuahua was gone. Dolly.
Hello, Dolly. It's Gary calling from Nova Scotia.
Hey, Gary, what's going on?
Well, this case reminds me a lot of Carissa Boudreau, a case that happened down in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, about 10, 15 years ago.
Not too familiar with us, but go ahead, fill me in.
Well, the woman, she was living with her boyfriend. The boyfriend wanted the stepdaughter gotten rid of, and the mother ended up killing the stepdaughter.
Wow.
Yeah, and for about a week, they had a lot of people out there searching, looking for her in the Bridgewater area.
Okay.
And
how did she end up turning up? Did one of them tell on each other, or they find something?
No, they ended up finding her. It was in the wintertime. They ended up finding her near the river that was iced over. So.
Okay. So, and then what, did they confess to the crimes?
Yes, finally.
Yeah, I think it's going to be something like this, that they got overwhelmed and they done something bad.
Well, there's a lot of the psychic readers that I've seen on YouTube and they've been saying the exact same thing, that it probably happened before the Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And that there was probably a big fight or argument, and they didn't want to get caught with marks or something like that on the children.
Yes, and I'm hearing rumors there were CPS, and I mean, my spidey senses, some people call it psychic abilities. I just call it my spidey senses tell me that something's not right, and it's not adding up. There's stories. Like if you took two people and got them away from each other, they would tell you similar stories, but they wouldn't tell you the same story. And I feel like their story has been rehearsed.
Yes.
You know, like so. they talk to strangers, they like strangers, they would get in a car with anybody. Well, one, that's terrible. That's bad parenting. You should teach your kids better than that. Like, would you let your kid put their hand on a hot stove? No, you would smack.
No, absolutely not.
So if your kid was talking to strangers, you would go, hey, don't do that. Don't talk to strangers. You know, I have a grown daughter and I tell her not to talk to strangers. So
and I think they're playing off the fact that there's a lot of missing people going missing in Nova Scotia right now too.
Okay. It's the new Tennessee. We got a Nova Scotia here in America. We call it Tennessee. That's where all the kids go missing. Tennessee. It's always
no, it's not kids. It's people in their 40s and 30s.
Oh, wow.
Just disappearing.
Wow. That may be aliens, but aliens don't get if their shoes are there, if their shoes are there and they ain't, they on a spaceship somewhere.
It's just very strange how it just seems like they're trying to play off the locals' feelings. Like nobody wants to bring up the fact, even the journalists, about Carissa Boudreau and the fact that a mother did kill her daughter in the province not that long ago.
It definitely happens. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I've dealt with mothers that have killed their kids personally, and
well, when I looked at that woman and the fact that she's got absolutely no emotion and then took off right away afterwards, there's something really wrong with that.
Yeah, who leaves their babies? And their babies,
yeah.
6 and 4 years old, is a baby. I mean, it ain't
Exactly.
newborn, but it's still a baby. And so, what do the locals there where you're at think is going on with this? Do they think there's foul play? And because I know you're calling from Nova Scotia, so what are you hearing around that area?
Well, a lot of people are saying a lot of different things. The people that know the area and know the people, like I seen something online where the neighbor was saying that Wednesday there was a big party at the residence. A lot of vehicles, and that they are known to be drug addicts. Now their friends are coming out and saying no, nothing like that, but their neighbor, who sees them all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they didn't got no real close neighbor. I mean, I mean, there's one down the street a good little ways, but I mean, you know, in areas like this where it's not usually heavily populated, everybody knows everybody, like small town, you know?
Oh yeah, I live in a rural area myself in Nova Scotia, and you know, everybody knows everybody, and you know, you try to stay out of everybody's business, but you know,
word gets around.
You hear things.
Yeah, exactly. Usually when I go to cases of missing people and things like that, I tend to try to go to the local watering hole where people hang out. Because if you go to those places, then everybody's gossiping about what's going on. And believe it or not, in some of that gossip, you get a little bit of bullshit, but you also get some truth. It's a mixture of the two. You just got to know how to weed it out.
Yeah, that'd definitely be the pizza parlor there in New Glasgow.
Yeah, see, every place has one where the locals go and hang. I was on a case looking for this dude, and he was missing. And I went into this gas station that it's just a local gas station, but everybody hung out there. And the people were telling me, they're like, hey, man, that dude's on drugs running through the woods naked. And I thought they were lying. They were like, dude, we seen him. He's naked. He's running through the woods. He's probably on some bad drugs. Come to find out, the dude was naked, running through the damn woods, and he was okay. So they knew. The locals knew, right? They were like, man, I would go home and don't worry about that dude. When he comes out off them drugs, he'll be all right. I was like,
yeah, that's Fred. He does that every week. You know,
yeah, that's
don't
Fred.
worry about it.
Yeah, this guy's name was Jake, but apparently he took all his clothes off and he was just running through the woods having a good old time. But he's alive and he was found. That same day, a police ran up on him naked and took him into custody, and he called his family and said he was okay. And so I turned around and went back home, but I was out there droning and searching for him in the woods. And the locals were just laughing. They were like, that dude's naked running through the woods, man. He's all right. I was like, what? But
hopefully the cop was wearing his gloves.
True story, though. It's an absolute true story. Hey, look, I appreciate you calling in.
You have somebody.
Well, very nice speaking to you. Thank you.
All right, peace. Go ahead, producer.
You have somebody trying to call from Pictou, which is the direct area. And
okay.
They're saying they need to go to sleep soon. If you could somehow facilitate that, I don't know.
Okay, they're calling from a 902 area code.
I don't know what the area code is.
It's 902.
Okay.
Because I've been had plenty of calls from Nova Scotia.
It's not Nova Scotia. It's Pictou, the exact
But
area.
I think it's going to be that same
okay.
area code.
Okay.
So, guys, right now we're only taking calls from that area. So if you're calling, make sure you get their area code. So if it ain't, I'll take it. But I believe it's 902.
Did you open the phone line?
Yeah, phone lines are open.
Yes, 902.
Okay.
Or 782.
Okay, 902 or 782. I'll take calls from either one of those numbers right now. Give these locals a chance to call in, guys, because they're going to know a little bit more than we do, and they're probably going to hear things that we haven't heard. Okay, so I'm going to be here with you guys for a few more minutes. I will be back late tonight discussing some stuff, but I'm going to only be here for another maybe 10 minutes or so. I remember Dolly Vision searching for the bear drug addict. Do you remember that? Yeah, that was.
You have the phone line on?
I'm pretty sure I have. I'll refresh it. Hold on. You see, it says receiving calls right there. It's open.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Dolly.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New Glasgow, Pictou County.
Okay. So what's the word on the streets there? What have you heard? What do you know?
Well, first, just regarding some things that you can kind of prove, like with her leaving the property, CPS is pretty brutal around here. Our version of CPS, she was more than likely told to leave or should that baby be taken, right?
Yeah.
Because there is reports there were drugs found too. So that's probably why she had taken off, right? But right off, there was just the buzz that they are dealers. Look, I don't know. I don't want to give my name or anything either, but that they were dealers. And as crazy as even people saying around here that the kids were friggin' taken for a drug debt, right?
It wouldn't be the first time I've heard that. They believe that in the Summer Wells case here in the States, that the child was taken over a drug debt.
Yeah, and now I just ran across a couple of, Jesus, there's a guy, 10 minutes. Now, the cops must have looked at it, but they're friggin' useless around here, man. 10 minutes, there's a pedophile that lives 10 minutes from the area. I suspect they looked into him, that was just recently released. I don't follow your show. I just ran into it.
Okay.
So I don't know if you guys have been talking about those things, right?
No, we don't know the area too well. And so we didn't know. We just knew it was a rural area where there wasn't a lot of neighbors. So, but yeah, we know that these monsters are everywhere. You know,
as far as the party, there doesn't seem to be neighbors in the area 500 meters. That was an anonymous post. I know the last guy calling from Nova Scotia there. And what's that? Sorry.
No, that was PJ. She was
the post actually said 500 feet.
Yeah, the post said 500 feet. There ain't no house.
I'm just trying to gather my thoughts, damn it. There was something else here too. Jeez. Oh, I ran into another. I got to find these, maybe send you guys another call from that day. There was a 911 call of a suspicious. The lady thought it was a black Honda type SUV. The cops found it. This is in the area that day, I suppose. I was listening to the dispatch thing, and they said it didn't seem suspicious, right? But that was from that day. A male, bald, mustache, white, around 50 years old. Right in that area that day. Now, I'm not saying that the parents don't look friggin' suspicious, because you can tell they rehearsed. But you could also think of that as they were clearly neglectful. And, you know, maybe they were rehearsing it as in thinking, I don't want to lose the fucking 1-year-old. I don't want to be charged here. Not thinking, you know what I mean? Like getting their story together.
And be innocent.
Of the 1-year-old a little bit, right? Because they clearly seem like they rehearsed it, but messed up in some areas, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you ask him?
And, you know, the culvert thing, you know, in this area, the culvert thing, you know, as kids here, we like to play in those culverts and stuff. So I don't even look at that as suspicious. And now he just came out on local news and said, give me a fucking lie detector, eh? Sorry, I'm cursing on your channel. He just said it right on local news. I want a lie detector. And I can't prove that in court, but he's saying because the family's giving it to me and stuff, right? Did you guys come across that video or?
Well, we've heard him say that he's willing to take a lie detector test. Here's my question. This is what my producer's asked. She's asking, if they found drugs in that house, why didn't they arrest them for the drugs?
Yeah, no, see, that's just a friggin' rumor, right? But looking at the outside state of that house, as people know, you look at the outside, the inside probably wasn't too good, right? And you got her blocked. Yeah, look, it does look suspicious, but if you just did some kind of murder of your own children, and then you block him on Facebook. What the hell is that? And I know that they might be not the brightest people in the world, but that's an odd move, right? Maybe something like that makes me think he was supposed to friggin' get up, didn't get up with them or something, right? And she's pissed at him. Because the grandmother, I don't know if you guys came across this, was open on Facebook at first, and she said that he went back to sleep that morning. He went back to sleep.
She did too?
Exact words. What?
The grandmother went back to sleep that morning too?
No, she said Daniel went back to sleep that morning.
Oh, okay.
That's what she posted on Facebook. You know what I mean? Like, I know all the stories are all over the place, but that he went back to sleep that morning. So I'm just saying, again, as far as her blocking him, is she all pissed because he was supposed to be up? Did they know they were outside maybe? Did they send them outside? Here in the country, sometimes kids, you know, they do send them outside to play, right? That's young.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, and unlocked doors around here, right? There's unlocked doors and we send our kids out sometimes, right?
Yeah, go outside and make all that noise outside. Y'all go play. You don't think nothing's going to
so I'm
happen.
just, where it's just weird that she blocked him. Maybe she's mad at him. He was supposed to be up. Maybe they knew they're outside because clearly they got some kind of story together first. Really, I think that's all the buzz. I'm getting. This comes a lot of our. If you join our local rant and raves, if you guys are following it, if you go to the Pictou County rant and rave, there's a lot of people that open their mouths on there, and it's just from the local gossip, right? And I wasn't sure how much you guys are aware of and not aware of, right?
Yeah, well, we didn't know
And
about
I
that
hate even doing
website
it because it's rumors, but I mean, this is what your show's about. You're talking about it, so I figured I came across it. I'd call in, right? But
yeah, we talk news, rumors, gossip, speculation. We talk it all, and we see how it all plays out in the end.
Yeah, I just live right in New Glasgow, so it's whenever. I don't know, man. I have 5 kids, and 2 of them are a boy and girl at 7 and 9, and it's really, geez, I hope they find them, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But where they're also saying the cops here want to go back over particular areas, I wonder if they're going over areas where maybe bodies can be hid, man, right?
Yeah, I mean,
You know
we know today they were searching those lakes, so they start searching lakes. They're starting to think that these kids are not alive, and they wasn't in the woods because they covered so much of that woods that them kids couldn't have made it that far, and with the helicopters and horses and all that. Somebody knows something, and I don't. It could be something like you said, that there could be a predator out there that was lurking, and these people are just neglectful and not murderers. That their kids were outside playing, and they should have been watching them, and they don't want to admit to. We let the kids play outside by themselves, and somebody grabbed them.
There's just so much going on, man. Supposedly, Buddy lives in Scottsburn, is where it is. It's not far from there. And this other dispatch call, that strange black SUV, supposedly of that day, right? Just some weird stuff. And then the reports of that party, I can't confirm because I didn't go out to the area, but I heard there's not many houses. But I know I heard there's supposed to be the party there, right? And yeah, it is all just. It's hard for me to even talk about because my kids are sleeping here right now. We're in the area, right?
Yeah. Well, keep a good eye on them. If there is somebody out there doing bad things to kids, you want to keep a real close eye on your kids. While right now, anyway, till everybody figures out what the hell is going on there.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they don't look suspicious because I know there was a lot of ones on your board. Look, there's a lot of things that look like that, and they could just be making mistakes along the way.
Yes,
Jesus Christ. I know you can't use a lie detector in court or anything, but just get them on it so you can get in the right friggin' direction, right?
Yeah, suspicious don't make you guilty, though.
No, it's just all odd. And I was just saying, the concocting the story, well, there's clearly neglect there, and maybe they let them out, or maybe they knew they're outside and didn't want to say anything, and fuck knows, man, right? Jeez,
yeah,
that's heartbreaking, really.
That's a real possibility. That is
the kids,
a real
right?
possibility.
Just the kids, find the kids, and then worry about wrapping up who the hell did this afterwards, right? But
yeah.
All right, man. I'm glad you're able to take my call. It's late here. I'm pretty freaking tired. And
all right, well, you be good. Stay safe, brother, and keep an eye on them kids until we figure out what's going on out there.
Yeah, it seems like a great show, man. I subscribe. Thank you for letting me in. Thank you.
No problem. Peace.
Bye.
So there you go. I mean, a suspicious SUV in the area. These people acting like, they're good parents. But what if they did do this? They let their kids out playing by themselves. The kids are gone, and they go, well, we were sleeping. We didn't let the kids out. They slipped out. And it's really, they're rehearsing their story because they're neglectful.
Right.
Like Don and Candace Wells. Right. And now the kid's gone, and it could have been an abductor. And that's why they're out there screaming, check the airport, check this. The kid's been abducted, because they know the kids were outside playing. And they go outside playing all the time and don't come up missing.
Just kind of come along that road and just happen to skip a hop and find the kid just outside playing.
Crimes or opportunities happen a lot. I mean, it's rare. I mean, the odds are probably slim.
And then take 2 of them.
Take 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, you would think they would take their preference.
I believe that if that was the circumstance, these interviews that we're seeing from either or parent would be more like return my kid. If you have my kid, please bring my kid back.
Yeah.
We won't be mad at you. Drop them off at the local fire
Police station or gas station, like Steph said.
I just want my kid back. More of a frantic demeanor from both of them. It just doesn't fit
tears.
For me.
You would think you'd have tears, and we don't really have tears.
It doesn't fit for me.
You know, some people can make themselves cry, and then some people, they can't control it.
My face won't let me lie.
Yeah, I got a face I can't lie either. You'll see it in my face. I got a lot of facial expressions I make.
Looking at you like you're crazy.
Like when I think people are crazy, I can't not give like a certain look when I look. And when people say something that's on the borderline of me, because I'm respectful to everybody that calls, but sometimes people say some things that I'm like, what the hell are they smoking? And my face can't hide it. Even though I'm polite and I'll let you go with it, my face can't hide what I'm thinking.
Right. And everybody in chat while that's happening is always like, oh my God, Dolly's face.
My face cannot.
Nice.
Dolly.
Hey, brother, how you doing tonight?
I am doing pretty good. Who's this? And I think I know where you're calling from. You call from Nova Scotia?
Lucky guess, I guess. Yeah, no, this is Doug. I actually spoke to you, I think the first night you covered this a couple nights ago.
Okay, what's going on, Doug? Good to talk to you again then.
Yeah, you too. I got to be honest, yeah, like I've listened to the dispatch recording that the previous caller was referencing.
Yes.
I personally, I haven't, I'm in all these groups too. I haven't heard anything about a pedophile connection or anything like that. I'm aware of the van that they seen that day that they were driving out to the house. It sounded like that same, that same call, they'd already ruled out that driver as being suspicious. If you listen to it, it implies, like, it definitely, like, it took the license plate and everything. I think people have to sort of read between the lines when it comes to this investigation. There's only so much stuff the police are going to be able to tell you right now while it's an active investigation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's very telling. People can have all their whatever they want to think about our local law enforcement. That's fine. A lot of people have reasons to have, their opinions about it. But I don't believe they're idiots.
No. A lot of people on the internet, especially sleuths and true crime, they think all police are stupid as shit. I don't think the police are stupid because most people in prison have been put there by good detective work in the police, not YouTubers. But everybody thinks they're better at solving crimes than the police, and the police don't get enough credit for all they do. We're
absolutely,
prison systems are full, and that's from police putting them there, not sleuths.
Yeah. Absolutely, that's exactly it, right? Like, at best, we can just sit back and speculate. I mean, that's what we can do.
Like The Rock says, you should know your role. You know what I'm saying?
Shut your mouth.
Yeah.
But like, to me, it seems like they've made it abundantly clear right from the start that abduction is not. If there's one thing I feel like they've been clear that they're not considering right from the start is an abduction.
No kidnapping.
Yeah. I feel like, like we've had a lot of rumors floating around about, we have an immigration problem in Canada. I'm sure you've heard of it.
Oh yeah, there's one here too.
And, yeah. And, I mean, it is a problem. Fully agree. Some people like to use that and hijack other things and make that about immigration. The people who made these claims about, Middle Easterners driving by their house and trying to abduct their kids, like, in the local groups, we've caught that person under 3 different names, and they've switched from "this happened to me directly" to "this happened to a friend of mine," and it was never like it's only a small town, right?
Yeah.
Like, if on Thursday there's an abduction attempt and somebody has to chase East Indians or Middle Easterns, sorry, not trying to be racist,
I know.
off of their property, the cops are going to put out an all points bulletin on that vehicle as soon as Lily and Jack go missing, because they would draw that conclusion. That's not something they would withhold. They would withhold something like, we kind of suspect maybe there's foul play, but we're not going to say anything because we don't have all the cards yet.
Yeah.
Right. Like, they're not. But people are so hung up in this area about,
a random car drove by or the cops seen a random car. The cops have made it so clear that abduction's not what happened. I guess I'm just speculating that too, but I feel like
I agree with you, though.
It's not an abduction.
I agree with how they're leading, how they're saying, and the things they're saying that they don't believe it's abduction. I mean, that shows you right there with the no Amber Alert. If there was any thought of that, they would have issued that Amber Alert.
And it's the story about the party. Now, this party story, it came up like out of nowhere today, I think. At best, it came up yesterday. And if it did, I didn't hear about it till this morning.
Mm-hmm.
This party on a Wednesday night, I feel like that's something that, I feel like that's another one of those things that wouldn't necessarily have been withheld from us. I feel like they would have mentioned that somewhere earlier in the investigation, that there was a party. Like that opens up things a bit. And the timing of it, I just, no reputable source said the party happened.
I thought all the parties were in Sunnyview Trailer Park in Canada.
Sorry, what was that?
Sunnyview. The one that the Trailer Park boys live in, Sunnyview Trailer Park.
Oh, Sunnyview. Yeah. Although there's certainly been some parties on the TV show, but I think they pale in comparison to some of the backyard hootenannies. So
the backyard ones
here.
Yeah, I bet they get wild.
I grew up under tiki lights out on a front porch, man. I know, but it's. I genuinely believe that, and I discussed this with you when I first called. When those kids didn't show up to school on Tuesday, whatever had happened had already happened. I don't know if, I don't know the details about what happened, but I think, of course, I have to assume that the people in the household, at least were, maybe not aware when it was happening that it was happening. But I think as of Tuesday morning, they would have both been in a state of mind that they knew what had happened. And I think probably between Monday night and Tuesday night, I got a question for you. Right. I don't know how old you are, man. I'm going to guess 21.
Close.
But I bet. But you're a young man, right? And I don't know your living, I don't know what it was like growing up or anything like that. Did you have your both your parents in your life?
No, I don't even know my father.
No. You don't know your father? Okay.
No.
Well, okay, so this isn't going to, I don't think this will translate well to you then. I don't know. Growing up, if I ever did something stupid, the first person I'm calling is my father. Right? Like, Dad, I fucked up. I got this girl pregnant or something. I'm just an example. I'm very happy with all of my children.
Yeah.
But it's I'm gonna call my dad because that's the guy who I never asked him to cover up a murder for me. I'm not gonna murder anybody, but I kind of think he would probably do it if I asked him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that level of trust. A father's love for his son. From my experience, like they'll move mountains for their kids, right? If I'm Daniel and if I'm the stepfather and I fuck up that night, I'm calling my dad.
Yeah, I can understand that. I mean, I had the same relationship, but with my mom. I was more of a mama's boy, and I could tell my mom anything. There was nothing I ever hid from my mom. If I did something stupid, I'd tell her about it. She would rather know what was going on in my life than me hide something from her. So she was my mom and my dad. She played both parts.
Exactly. Super mom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like for me, and I think, I mean, the stepfather's dad lives in that same area, and if it's me, I'm not gonna want that on my, if goodness, how can I even say this? Like, I just don't see somebody wanting those. If the kids have passed away, I don't see them wanting, if they have 3 days, which I think is what happened. I think if the kids were done in by Tuesday morning, they had all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, all day Thursday. I don't want those kids on my property, right? Like you'd want them off of your property.
Yes.
And you're going to need that help to do it. Now, they have vehicles in their yard, and I have to assume the cops have already, forensics, I assume, have already probably scrubbed those vehicles. They've probably looked at those vehicles. And I don't think that they're rocket scientists, but I maybe dad's a little bit smarter. Maybe the stepfather's dad came in, or stepfather had a loved one that he really trusts, not necessarily the dad. And they said, hey, chuck him in this car. And then they
Yeah.
have 3 days to do whatever, right? Like, I don't think they did it by themselves. I don't think that they, I heard the stories about the people living on their property. I've heard it from enough people that I believe it to be true. I don't think I've ever gotten like official word from it, but I've heard it from enough sources and people I believe to be credible, that I believe there's other people living on the property.
Mm-hmm.
You see the conditions of the trailer these other people are presumably living in. They're not going to be very smart. I don't think they're going to be very intelligent people either, if I'm being completely honest.
Well, I mean, you would think intelligent people would be living a little bit better. Exactly.
These are people who are living in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they wouldn't go to those two people. Like, why would you go to the two people on your property when it's only going to give more people who need to carry your story with you, where you could, where you could get them off of your property with somebody that you probably trust more than anybody in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I kind of think happened.
I don't think they're anywhere around there. I think with the amount of time they had, they put them in some vehicle, either theirs or somebody else's, and they rode these kids 100 miles from that location, and the police ain't even close to where them kids are at.
Somebody in the Facebook group, the group chat, had posted, and I didn't realize this. Now, I was already kind of looking into, other family members who weren't being mentioned a lot, and I noticed that the stepdad's father had like digging equipment, like bulldozers and stuff.
Oh God!
That's I'm gonna mark that down anyway, just in case it comes in as relevant. And then today, when I'm in the group chat, now I haven't heard the stepfather's dad's name come up really. He's just not one that comes up often in the discussions. But today, somebody posted a weird interaction that they seen him have on Facebook with somebody that looked like it was confrontational, and essentially saying, hey, you want to go down and settle this at the police station or the Pictou police station or something to that effect. And on top of that, they're saying that he took a trip between Tuesday, I don't know what the date was, but it was last week, that the stepfather's dad had taken a trip to New Brunswick. New Brunswick's one province over, from where they're at, it's probably, I don't know, to get past the New Brunswick border, maybe an hour and a half or so. I don't know. I'm usually not coming from the Pictou direction to go to New Brunswick, but I just thought it was worth, I think it's worth looking into.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, anytime you got family members that are moving around and things are happening like this, it's definitely worth keeping an eye on, for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
So, hey, I appreciate you calling in, brother. It was good talking to you.
All right. Appreciate your service, man. Have a good one.
All right. You be good. Peace.
Bye.
What do you think about that, PJ? The father, heavy machinery, traveling around the same time that the kids go missing, and
the bio father?
No, the stepdad's father.
Oh.
Don't that kind of remind you of Sebastian Rogers with the what's their last name? The Bowersox?
Yes.
They at that point they had took a trip to Alaska, and they were traveling, and then they drove a long ways, and then they took a private jet to Alaska. But definitely when you got family members shaking and baking and you got kids being taken, there's some faking. That's how I look at it. I mean, I don't know, but I think at this point you got to rock. Another call from Nova Scotia. Dolly
Vision, what's up?
What is going on? Who's this? Where are you calling from? I think I know, but I just want to make sure.
You think you know what?
That you're calling from Nova Scotia?
Okay, there's a guarantee about that, but you don't know who this is.
No, I don't know who it is for sure.
Okay, it's all good. Put me on the live feed.
You're on a live feed right now.
No, I'm not. We got bad leg.
No, well, you got a delay. You're live right now. If you're listening to the show, it's a little behind. Well, it's a little, yeah, it's a delay. See? Because I can hear it playing behind me. So turn that down because you're live with me now. If you have that playing in the background, all you're going to do is echo.
No, I'm not echoing nothing, man. You don't know who I am.
No, I mean, you'll echo through my headphones. I'll be able to hear myself, and it gets weird because then it starts to loop.
Well, I got you on an iPhone and with earpods. Yeah, I'm from Nova Scotia.
Okay.
Yeah, this pretty weird thing that's going on there.
Yes. So what do you think about the situation?
I really have no opinion. It's just crazy.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I agree. I agree that it's crazy, and the math's not mathing. There's something strange and a whole lot of change going on there in Nova Scotia. You ever been to a party at this house?
Tonight?
No.
On a Wednesday?
I
don't know. Apparently there was a little party that popped off there Wednesday night is what people are saying. So I'm just assuming, you may be in the area and you may be like, you want to hang out.
No, not a chance. And who's the female in my other ear?
Oh, that's my super producer, the best producer on YouTube, PJ.
Okay, good for her. Yeah, no, I know nothing.
Okay.
Just so happened to follow your YouTube channel and just thought I could call in and yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, hey, I appreciate you calling in. You have a great night.
Okay, you too.
All right. Peace. Okay. Now he just called in to have somebody to talk to, or he's the kidnapper. I don't know. I don't know which one it is. Somebody send the police to that man's house right there. He's sipping and tipping, and he like, you don't know who I am. I damn sure don't. Okay, you called me. You supposed to tell me who you are. I ain't psychic. Okay, I can't guess who everybody from Nova Scotia is. All right, I'm just meeting you guys. All right, you gotta fill me in. Right, we ain't on first name basis. So have I talked to you before? I'm suspicious of you. All right, you my number 2 suspect. Right, the mom and dad is number 1, and now, bro, you number 2. We don't even know who you are. You know what I'm saying? You didn't call in for no reason. You just called in to be like, I seen your number online, and I just figured it was Nova Scotia night, and I was going to call in. I mean, it's all good. I'm just picking and playing with you. Don't chop me up and put me in the chili.
I gotta call back to tell you to meet you.
Yeah, somebody be like, call back, fuck you, Dolly. Okay, and let me tell you, before you do that, it won't be the first time people have done that. Trust me, get in line behind all the other people that hate me. Okay, there's matter of fact, watch out for DoorDash drivers. There's a bunch of them out there that don't like Dolly whatsoever. DoorDash people don't like me. Keebler elves don't like me. That parents of missing kids don't like me. There's a whole bunch of people that don't like me. Okay, so join them. All right, or I'm just playing.
That's the stepdad's dad, lol.
That's the stepdad's dad. He's like, listen, I do not run an excavator. I'm a crane operator. Okay, I operate a crane. Right now, we're working on St. Jude's.
Oh, stop.
That was Chris Proudfoot that just called in from Canada.
No, it wasn't.
That was Ricky and Julian. Okay, that called in from, what is it, Sunnyvale?
I don't know.
I thought it was Sunnyview, Trailer Park. I may be wrong, but I watched every episode of the Trailer Park Boys too. I even watched their stand-ups. In the first, I didn't like Canadian comedy. Like I don't know, it's a little weird for me. And then I don't know, I just got hooked on the Trailer Park Boys, and I would watch the Trailer Park Boys. I'd binge watch it every night. Okay, he's calling back. I think Dolly.
Join them.
Hello.
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 How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Who's this? Where you calling from?
I'm come from PEI.
Okay, you got to turn me down in the background, or we're going to echo really bad.
Okay. I just shut it off.
Okay. You didn't shut it. I can still hear it.
Wait now. There.
Okay, that's better. So what's going on with you tonight?
Oh, not much new.
Well, we're just discussing this case of the kids that went missing there in Nova Scotia. How do you say this town?
Pictou.
Pictou.
Yeah, I work in Pictou County.
Pictou County. So what do you think about the situation?
I say, well, they're probably around us.
They're around there somewhere?
Yeah, they're around us.
Okay, do you think they got out, or do you think the parents are involved? What do you think there?
Well, I say it was a party there Thursday night.
Thursday night, you said there was a party there?
Yeah.
Okay. Was you at that party?
No. And anyway, her husband got out of jail, and then I went over there to see the kids, and after that it was a fight.
So you saying the biological dad got out of jail and he went over there and there was a fight?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay. Well, from my understanding, the biological father don't have nothing to do with it. Now, I do know there was family members that went over there and got in an altercation from the mother's side.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, her husband got out of jail, and anyway, Thursday night it was a party over there at the trailer. That's why they slept in.
Yeah, because they were up late, sipping and tipping, shaking and baking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, so they think it was Thursday, but it was Friday.
Okay, all right. So I know they got up around 10:30 a.m., freaked out, reported it. And what do you think about the kids not being found? Do you think somebody kidnapped these children?
Yeah, it's a 3 or 4 days before that. It was on TV. It was Black UWV GMC, and it's a fellow in his 50s with the mustache and stuff. And yeah, I think that he grabbed him.
Okay, all right. Well, look, hey, I appreciate you calling in and letting us know. You be good. You stay safe.
Yeah. I'm calling from my work, a PPI.
Okay, we're the PPI. Okay, all right.
PPI, yeah.
Let me ask you this: are you down with OPP?
What?
Are you down with OPP?
Yeah, you know me.
No.
Okay, well, yeah, you know me. All right, you be good. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too, brother.
All right, peace. Okay. Yeah. I don't know what the hell is going on tonight. PEI, is that a place? I don't know. Maybe I'm just picking.
That's where he worked.
Oh, he worked at PEI. Okay, I don't know. The party was thirsty, is what he said. The party was thirsty, but
no, that he said they thought it was thirsty, but it was Friday.
They thought it was thirsty, but it was Friday. He's the first person from that area that called in that had a really unique accent. Everybody else sound Americanized.
I don't know what that was.
I don't know if that person was messing with me. You know it's OPP. Yeah, you know me, right? I didn't know what he was talking about. Now, listen, I'm not familiar with everything.
Prince Edward Island.
Is it a place?
Yeah, Prince Edward Island.
Prince Edward Island. Okay.
Where Anne of Green Gables, the movie, is made, and it's my favorite.
Oh, okay. So he was saying something that was legit. I was like, that's just me not knowing. New accent. Yeah, that was Irish accent. Sounded like, I don't know. It sounded like Amish mixed with damn Irish.
I think he
An Amish Irish pirate.
Has like stutter.
Maybe he had a little bit of a stutter, and he sounded a little Amish with a little bit of whiskey and Canadian mixed together.
Sounded Irish.
Yeah, it may have been a mixture of everything, and I thought he was messing with me, but maybe that is legitimately who he is.
Yeah.
Okay, he sounded like a rapper at one point.
Your drunk dad wants to know if he can call in.
My drunk dad.
That's their name?
Yeah, you can call in. Where are you from? This has been Nova Scotia night tonight. The call lines are still open. I was trying to get out of here at a decent time because I was going to come back in a little while, but I can take maybe one or two more calls.
Oh, yeah.
What's the number to call? Oh, it was on the screen. Your drunk dad. Okay, I guess there's a couple people sipping and tipping tonight. There is the phone line, 757-797-6694, PEI. Okay. Prince Edward Island. I didn't know that was a place. I guess you learn something new every day. Must be there Friday night. It says Little Cole. I don't know. A little sipping and tipping, all right? I don't know. I just answer the phones, okay? I just answer the phones. That's all I do. But, you know, I'm going to steal that. Thursday night, okay? It wasn't a party on Wednesday. It was Thursday night. Unknown caller. Oh, my God. Here we go. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly, this is the guy's brother that just called you a couple minutes ago, and I wanted to let you know that I'm down with OPP too.
Are you down with OPP?
I'm down with OPP, just like me brother.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. So
love you.
All right. You be good. Peace. All right. So his brother's down with OPP. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Lord. Naughty by nature in the house, right? Naughty by nature. So his brother's down with OPP and the PEI and the UFC and the ABC News broadcast. I don't know. I don't know, guys. But all jokes aside, we got to pray that something happens in this case. There's a break in this case, and there's some answers for Jack and Lily, right? Right now, you know, we got to give them a voice because they don't have a voice. And we don't know if the parents, the stepdad and the mother are a good voice for these kids because they may be covering something up. Now, I ain't saying that they are. I'm just suspicious of them. Angel Girl just been a member for 2 months. Thank you so much for being a member. And if you guys haven't, I'm going to take a second. What does OPP mean? You can look it up. Some people would say it's other people's property. You down with OPP or other people's stuff, okay? You ain't never listened to Naughty. Just look up the band Naughty by Nature, OPP. Yeah, you know me, okay? And they'll explain what OPP is. What's happening here? I don't know, okay? I don't know what happened. We took a sharp left turn somewhere in the mix. I don't know how it happened, but you know, when I tell y'all, when y'all jump on the Dolly train to buckle up, you never know what's going to happen or what's going to be said. I tell you, we mix comedy with a little bit of chaos and true crime and speculation, and it's a little bit of everything here. It's like a box of chocolate. Okay, you never know what you're going to get until you come inside Dolly Vision. All right, so tonight's been a lot of callers, a lot of good callers from Nova Scotia. And it's a pleasure to meet a lot of you guys. Some of you guys I talked to when I first started covering this case. But we're going to stay on it until there's some answers. I don't believe this is going to be a long, drawn-out case. Dolly.
Hey, Dolly and PJ.
Hey, Melanie.
How y'all doing?
I am doing pretty good. How about yourself? I haven't heard from you in a little bit.
I know. Did y'all go horseback riding yet?
No, we go horseback riding, what, May 31st? I don't know. I got my cowboy boots, Melanie. I got my cowboy hat. I got my cowboy jeans and my cowboy shirt, and we got the date booked. We go to 31st. We're taking you with us, Melody, live on YouTube.
Okay, good. Is that gonna be a Saturday?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tune in at once.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, so we planned the horseback ride, and we had to change the date because I've never rode a horse, so I have to dress up like a cowboy to ride one. So I got my cowboy hat, my cowboy boots, I got all my whole cowboy out. I got the big belt buckle and everything. Y'all get to see.
Okay.
Yeah, and next week we're staying in the Lizzie Borden house. Is that how you say it? Borden? Lizzie Borden? She's an axe murderer that killed her parents in the house, and we're staying in her bedroom.
Yeah.
Wednesday. I think Wednesday.
Oh my goodness.
Or Thursday. I don't know. One of those days.
Y'all be praying for me. All people who are watching Dolly right now, y'all be praying for me for God to spare my life and let me say June and my birthday and the day the rapture happens.
The day to okay, I will definitely pray for you, Melody. You be good. You stay safe.
Okay, you too, and I love y'all, and thank you for all y'all do.
All right, Melanie, you be good now. Peace.
Okay, bye, darling PJ. Peace.
Okay, guys, Melanie's been calling for a long time. Cowboy Dolly. Yes, so we do Dolly adventures here. It ain't just true crime. We do a little bit of all kinds of weird, different stuff. We ghost hunt. We do little adventures. So this week is one of our adventure weeks. So we leave Saturday or Sunday. I'm not quite sure what day. PJ won't let me confirm it because she don't like people to know where we're at and when we're there because she thinks somebody's going to kill us or something. I don't know. But we're heading up north to Boston to support the Karen Reed. We'll not support Karen Reed, but John O'Keefe. Karen Reed is being charged with the death of John O'Keefe in Canton, Massachusetts. So we're going up there to support the family. And she said she can still hear me. We're going to the Lizzie Borden house. I think I said her name wrong. I'm not positive. But she's an axe murderer that killed her dad and her stepmom. And so we're going to stay there, do some ghost hunting. We're going to ghost hunting tour. We'll be live with that. So you'll Borden. Okay. Lizzie Borden. Sounds like boredom. Sounds like boredom to me. It sounds like. But PJ enjoys it. So we will be there, Borden, at this house with, that people got axe murdered in. And we'll have the spirit boxes and the little ghost meters and night vision cameras. And you'll get to see that here live on YouTube. The 31st, we're doing horseback riding. Dolly's never rode a horse, so I'm dressing up as a cowboy. We're going to go ride horses. Then I got the Stephen Stearns trial going on in Florida. I'll be at CrimeCon in Colorado in September, and then I'll be in Idaho for for Brian Kohlberger, the Idaho 4 murder trial. So I got a busy summer coming up this year. We're going to be all over the place. Okay. All over the place. Now I'm going to shut these phone lines. I'm going to get out of here. If I am up,
for you, Melanie, and for these babies.
If I am up tonight, which I think I will be because I slept in this morning, I will come back live with you guys around, I don't know, give me an hour and a half. So 12:30, 1 o'clock ish. I'm going to come back for an hour. We can discuss some more of this. And I want to tap in a little bit on some other stuff because I've been talking about this mostly today.
I'm from Nova Scotia. I'm very bothered by callers stating stepfather's dad might have been on a road trip towards New Brunswick when stepfather keeps talking NB borders. Seems like something that stands out.
Yes, Jennifer Lee. And thank you for your super chat. That is super awesome of you guys. And thank you for everybody that has subbed up. We have a lot of new Canadian viewers, and it's good to see you guys. I can't wait to visit. I tried to come to Canada when I went to Niagara Falls, but I didn't have a passport, so they wouldn't let me in. Looks like an awesome place, but I'm sure I will be in Canada before too long. As soon as I get my passport, my real ID, and all that stuff settled, I do want to come visit Canada. I've never left the country, but I think 2025 is the year that I may venture out just a little bit outside the borders of the United States. Okay. So thank you guys for everybody that's here. And when I get back, we can touch in on this a little bit more, but I want to touch in on a little bit of the Sebastian Rogers case, maybe a little bit about Summer Wells, just some other things. So we're not talking the exact same thing every live stream. Okay. So if you're up tonight, tune in. I'll probably be back around 1:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're a late night person, come hang out. We may do just an open discussion on all the cases. Jack and Lily, Summer, Sebastian, just missing crime, true crime in general. Okay. Or we might just sit around and shoot the shit. I don't know. But I'll see y'all then for you late night people. And until tomorrow, I'll see you guys later. Peace.